It's Matthias Cavodi. I'd like to welcome guys to my channel. Today we're going to talk about Guardians of the Galaxy, more specifically the tie-in issues into the War of Kings crossover. So we're going to cover issues 13 to 19. These came out in 2009. They're written by Dan Abnett and Andy Lanning, and we're sort of jumping in the deep end. Like, there's a lot that went down in the previous 13 issues that I'm going to cover in previous videos. But this is the first comic compilation issue I got my hands on, and I just really want to share it with you guys. Like, before I spoil the hell out of it, like the War of Kings crossover, it was okay. I think both Annihilations prior to this story were better, and Thanos Imperative also. This is like the weaker one of that series of cosmic crossovers that came out back during that time, but it's still a good story. But the Guardians of the Galaxy tie-ins are really, really good. They're very enjoyable. There's a shit ton of action, a lot of interesting character moments, dialogues, and without further ado, let's get into this. I'm wasting too much time with the introduction. So we have the Guardians. They're in Sapiensal. I'm not sure how to pronounce that in English, but it's that celestial head floating out in nowhere. It's the Guardians' main base of operations. A skirmish breaks out with some Shi'ar soldiers that were at a bar. So after this battle takes place, what the Guardians of the Galaxy discover is that there's a war between the Shi'ar and the Kree Empire. And Warlock warns Star-Lord's like, look, after everything that went down with the Annihilation, with Ultron, the fabric of the universe itself, it's very weak. This can actually be a danger to reality itself. We have to stop this war, so we should send people to negotiate. Well, that's the conclusion that they have in this conversation, that they should send two groups of Guardians to negotiate the peace so they could stop hostilities on both sides, because everyone wants to stay alive and keep the galaxy alive and healthy. So there's one thing I got to tell you guys before I keep going. Like, the dialogues between characters, Dan and Andy did a killer job. Like, some of the dialogues are just pure gold. Here we have one between Star-Lord and Rocket, where Star-Lord, they're making the two teams that are going to go, and Rocket asks for all the heavy hitters, and Star-Lord's like, man, you get all the powerhouses and I get all the weak guys on my team. And so the dialogues are just, and also the art. I have to check out who's the artist. There you go. I didn't know who was the artist. Brad Walker did a killer job, especially the way he draws Rocket. It's really adorable. So the dialogues, the panel work, the art's really good. There's some really good funny moments. Like, we have a silent moment with three telepaths. They start laughing. Star-Lord's like, hey, what are you laughing at? And they tell him it's no, we told a telepathic joke. And there's like a ton of little gems in all these issues with dialogues and situations like that that are really well written. And at least they're pretty enjoyable. So we have the two teams. We have Star-Lord, who has Captain Marvel, ex-Captain Marvel, ex-Quasar. Now he's called Martyr. We have Jack Flag, Gamora, who she doesn't have the movie look yet, and Bug. Well, they're going to negotiate with Inhumans, while Rocket, Drax, Groot, Warlock, and Major Victory are going to try to talk some sense into the Shi'ar Empire. So what happens is Star-Lord and company go to negotiate with the Kree. They discover that the Inhumans are the ones in charge. Now they're the ones controlling the Kree Empire. I really liked Inhumans in space. This whole situation, at least for me, really worked. I like them more in this situation compared to what Marvel tried to do back in 2015 with Inhumans. Oh, no, I don't want to get into that. But I like them in outer space. Star-Lord explains the whole situation. Hey, the universe is in great danger. You have to stop hostilities. And Black Bolt tells him no. He's like, no, we're not going to let this pass. The Shi'ar attacked us. We have to maintain our positions. And so we have a situation here. So Rocket and company reach the Shi'ar, and they are immediately attacked by Vulcan. The other teammates, Rocket, Groot, Major Victory, and Drax are just left floating out in outer space. And they're rescued by the Starjammers. Havoc is the leader of the Starjammers during this time. Also, I loved him as the leader of the Starjammers. That particular lineup of that space team really rocked with Polaris. You had Rachel Summers, Phoenix, Chad on the team. And so they rescue that part of the Guardians. And what happens after this is that Warlock starts battling Vulcan. Vulcan's insanely powerful. But Warlock, to be able to deal with these type of situations, he pushes himself so far that he starts shifting into his Magus persona, the evil Warlock. So in this battle, just really pushes him over the line, because not only he's fighting against Vulcan, he's also fighting against the Imperial Guard. So Star-Lord and his negotiations are going nowhere. So Phyla-Vell tries to mix things up, pulls a sword on Medusa, and is like, "You guys got a lesson. Don't you understand what's going on?" I hit the camera there, sorry. And so basically Phyla makes things go from bad to worse. Yeah, here we see the Magus persona popping up, and just his power levels really surge when this happens, and like he's starting to really hurt Vulcan when he gets into this situation. So what happens now? Crystal actually takes Star-Lord says, "Hey, you got to listen. We have to see how we can resolve the situation," so on and so forth. So she's trying to give Star-Lord a hand, and what Phyla-Vell does is pull a sword on her head, puts it up to her neck, and takes her and kidnaps her. So this just makes things terrible for Star-Lord. Like, there's a couple of moments where Star-Lord starts talking to Phyla. He's like, "Why the hell would you do something like that? Stop." And Star-Lord and company teleport away with Crystal. We have Star-Lord. He's freaking out. Warlock is able to also return to the base to stop himself. But he was marked by one of the magical members of the Imperial Guard. Had a mark on him. And what happens is, in this moment is awesome, the Inhumans and the Shi'ar arrive on Sapin-Cell at the same time. And we have a three-way battle. The Inhumans, the Shi'ar, the Guardians, all battling it out against each other. It's utter chaos, the whole situation. Star-Lord actually calls out to the Luminals. The Luminals are like the security force on the base. It's like, "Hey guys, can you help us? Since you're insanely powerful." And the Luminals are, "No, we have a non-pact aggression with the Shi'ar. If we get involved, we might get into trouble. So you have to resolve this whole situation for yourselves." Moondragon liberates Starhawk to see if Starhawk can help with the situation. We're going to get into in other videos how Starhawk got in this weird situation, because there's like a big mystery with Starhawk. Sometimes he's he, sometimes he's a she. It's pretty complicated. But when she's liberated, she seeks out Star-Lord and just teleports him away to another part of the universe. Well, actually not into another part of the universe. They're going to go far, far away at the end of time, literally. So, battle rages on. Star-Lord and company end up at the end of time. And what they discover is, first, a really cool detail of this part of the story is we get the original recipe. Guardians of the Galaxy, Major Victory, Yondu, Charlie 27, Martinex. I couldn't remember his name. So after a brief little battle, because no one knew who each other were, they discovered that the end of time, and that because of the War of Kings, they tore a hole so big in the reality that reality just ceased to exist. This is all that's left. This and the Badoon, that alien lizard race, that always causing trouble. So they have to resolve the situation, and Cosmos actually uses the Badoon actually enslaved all the Celestials left. It's like really off the wall. Cosmos actually uses one of the Celestials' minds to transmit a message to Sapin-Cell, telling the the Guardians there that Warlock is a key figure that's going to able to resolve the situation, stop the unraveling of reality itself. So the Guardians at prison time get the message. Vulcan and Black Bolt, by this time they're already dead. They tore a hole in the galaxy. We have a hole to the Cancerverse. Stuff starts spewing out of the Cancerverse, actually attacking Attilan, the space, Inhuman space city. We have a moment between Maximus and Groot in this story, because Groot always says, "I am Groot," and Maximus actually understands him. And they have a dialogue between Maximus and Groot where we discover that Groot is like super smart. And he has a ton of really interesting ideas that leaves Rocket and Crystal like totally astounded. It's like, oh boy, we didn't know all that about Groot. So what happens is, to stop this whole, because the terror in the universe is getting bigger and bigger, Adam Warlock makes a deal with the Universal Church, bad guys from the beginning of the series that use people's souls to power their ship. Is like, he uses all the Universal Church's church ships, all their powers. He absorbs it and just shoots it into the Universal Terror. It stops growing. It's still there, but it stops growing. Warlock saves the day. He gets stabbed in the back by Martyr, because it's something that went down in the previous issue. Martyr makes a deal to bring back Moondragon from the dead with Oblivion, and the deal was to kill Adam Warlock. But there's a reason why she kills Adam Warlock, and the reason is he's going to change into Magus, and Magus just straight up starts killing Guardians left and right. So what happens? What we discover is the Guardians that are trapped they're falling through time, Star-Lord and company, discovered that they stopped the universe from being destroyed by the Terror, but now the end of the universe is going to be caused by Magus himself and the Universal Church. So they get rescued by Kang. Kang gives them the Cosmic Cube. Say, you're going to have to go back in time and stop Magus right at the moment where he's going to convert after you stop the Terror in the universe, and you're going to have to kill him. So Star-Lord is sent back in time with the Cosmic Cube, but at first he tries to convince Warlock. He doesn't kill him right off the bat. He stops Martyr from stabbing him. He's like, hey man, we're friends, try not to become evil. But he fails miserably. Magus is born, and he starts killing members of the Guardians of the Galaxy left and right. He kills Martyr, kills Major Victory, he kills Gamora. Finally, Star-Lord acts. He uses the Cosmic Cube and shoots poor Adam Warlock in the head, and half the team has been killed. But they saved the universe from two terrible situations: the Terror in the universe and from Magus. This video has probably been really confusing because I started at a bad point in the series, not story-wise, but there was a lot going on. But I hope you guys liked this video. Check it out. See you guys next time. Bye.